These changes can stir fear, insecurity, and sometimes hostility. Let's talk about hate crimes. From the quiet streets of urban towns to the bustling lanes of our cities, demographic changes are touching every corner of our society. But what happens when these changes ignite extremist ideologies? We're talking about concepts like white supremacy, religious nationalism, xenophobia, and conspiracy theories like the Great Replacement. These aren't just buzzwords. They're potent ideologies that exploit our fears and insecurities, leading some down a dark path towards hate crimes. We'll also explore the echo chambers of the internet, where radical ideas often find fertile ground, and examine how group dynamics and leadership can pull individuals deeper into these belief systems. But it's not all about the dark side. We'll delve into how education, community engagement, and strong counter narratives can combat these ideologies, fostering understanding and empathy in our ever-changing social landscape. So join me as we dissect these intersections, understanding the forces that push and pull and seeking solutions to one of the most pressing challenges of our times. This is Intersections Conversations. Let's get to it. How is a hate crime defined? The Federal Bureau of Investigation defines a hate crime as a criminal offense against a person or property that is motivated in whole or in part by the offender's bias against a race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, or gender identity. This definition is used by the FBI for the purposes of collecting statistics on hate crimes across the U.S. as part of their Uniform Crime Reporting Program. Key aspects of the FBI's definition of a hate crime include: the act must be a criminal offense under the law, such as vandalism, assault, or bias motivation. The act must be motivated entirely or partially by the perpetrator's bias against a protected characteristic of the victim. This bias is what differentiates a hate crime from other types of criminal offenses. Range of protected characteristics. The FBI's definition includes a broad range of characteristics against which bias can be directed, including race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, and gender identity. Not limited to hate. The term hate in hate crime does not necessarily imply that the perpetrator must feel hatred in the way it is commonly understood. It's more about bias or prejudice against the victim's group. The FBI's definition and approach to hate crimes underscore the agency's recognition of the serious impact these crimes have on communities and their commitment to addressing and preventing incidents through law enforcement training, public outreach, and partnerships with community groups. The identification, definition, and investigation of hate crimes hold paramount importance in maintaining social harmony and justice. These crimes, motivated by bias against race, religion, sexual orientation, or other distinct characteristics, are not just attacks on individuals, but assaults on the values of diversity and inclusivity. Understanding the historical context of these crimes and how they have evolved is crucial, as history often sheds light on the recurring themes and motives behind such acts of hate. Additionally, current demographic shifts play a significant role in shaping the landscape of hate crimes. Rapid changes in community compositions can sometimes stoke fears and prejudices, leading to the emergence of extremist ideologies. These ideologies, often rooted in xenophobia, ethno-nationalism, or other forms of bigotry, find expression in hate crimes, making it imperative for law enforcement and society to comprehend and address these underlying factors. By effectively identifying and investigating hate crimes and understanding their historical and contemporary context, communities can not only bring perpetrators to justice, but also work towards eradicating the roots of bias and hatred that fuel such crime. Recognizing the signs of hate crimes, bias indicators. Specific elements at the crime scene or related to the crime that suggest a bias motive. And graffiti symbols or language used at the crime scene or in communication related to the crime that indicate bias, such as swastikas, racial epithets, or other hate symbols. Crimes occurring at locations significant to a particular group, like places of worship, LGBT community centers, or cultural institutions, might indicate a hate crime. Timing of the crime, such as coinciding with religious or cultural events, can also be an indicator. Victim and witness statements, key in providing context and understanding the motive. Victims and witnesses can often provide details on whether the crime was preceded by bias-related verbal abuse or threats. Their knowledge of any prior incidents or ongoing conflicts can also be illuminating. perpetrator behavior. Observations to consider. In attacks that appear unprovoked or disproportionate to any precipitating event, the choice of the victim based on their membership in a particular group, statements made during the crime, spontaneous remarks, comments, or gestures made during the crime that indicate bias. Prior behavior, a prior history of similar offenses or bias-related incidents by the perpetrator. Context. Understanding the bigger picture, knowledge of local demographic changes, recent conflicts or tensions, and the historical context of the area. Community sources, the local community groups, leaders, or activists can provide insights into ongoing issues or tensions that might relate to the hate crime. Media reports and social media may reveal recent debates, conflicts, or incidents that could be connected to the hate crime. Approach. Effective investigation of hate crimes requires piecing together various indicators to form a complete picture of the perpetrator's motive. Here are a few points that will give law enforcement officers a deeper and more nuanced understanding of how to recognize potential hate crimes. It emphasizes the importance of considering a range of indicators, from physical evidence at the crime scene to broader community dynamics, in order to accurately identify and investigate these crimes. Understanding the local demographic changes, recent conflicts or tensions, and the historical context of an area is crucial in investigating hate crimes because these factors can significantly influence the occurrence and nature of such crimes. Here's why this understanding is important. Local demographic changes. Changes in the demographic makeup of a community, such as an influx of immigrants, can sometimes lead to tensions or resentment, potentially fueling hate crimes. Perceived threats. Some members of the existing community might perceive newcomers as a threat to their economic, social, or cultural status, leading to bias-motivated crimes. Recent conflicts or tensions. Flashpoints for hate crimes. Local disputes or issues can act as flashpoints for hate crimes. For instance, a heated local debate over immigration, religious freedom, or racial equality could trigger bias-motivated incidents. Historical grievances. In some cases, long-standing grievances or unresolved conflicts can resurface, leading to acts of hate or violence against certain groups. Historical context. An area with a history of racial or ethnic discrimination might have underlying tensions that can manifest as hate crimes. The historical presence of hate groups in an area can influence current attitudes and actions, possibly encouraging hate crimes. History of bias-motivated crimes in a region can indicate a pattern or cycle that needs to be understood and addressed. The level of social cohesion and integration in a community can affect the likelihood of hate crimes. Segregated or fragmented communities may have higher risk. Public sentiment and rhetoric. Prevailing public sentiments and local rhetoric, possibly influenced by political or social leaders, can either exacerbate or mitigate tensions leading to hate crimes. Understanding these aspects helps law enforcement agencies to not only identify potential risk factors and hotspots for hate crimes, but also to develop more effective prevention and response strategies. This comprehensive approach is vital for ensuring the safety and harmony of communities, particularly those undergoing significant changes or facing deep-rooted challenges. Push factors. Here, rapid demographic changes can create a sense of fear and insecurity among some individuals in the majority group who may feel their cultural or economic status is threatened. Concerns about job competition or economic instability can be projected onto minority groups, leading to scapegoating. Perceived threats to cultural identity and values can be a major push factor, especially when changes challenge longstanding norms or traditions. Pull factors. Echo chambers and radicalization. Online platforms and certain media channels can create echo chambers where extreme views are reinforced. These spaces can pull individuals into radical ideologies. Being part of a group that endorses hate ideologies can provide a sense of belonging and validation, pulling individuals deeper into these belief systems. Charismatic leaders or persuasive propaganda can pull individuals towards hate ideologies by offering simple, albeit distorted, explanations for complex societal changes. Ideologies exploiting demographic. These ideologies often use demographic shifts, such as increasing diversity due to immigration, as a rallying cry against what they perceive as the dilution or replacement of the native population. Fears about losing cultural identity or economic security can be channeled into xenophobic attitudes, where immigrants or ethnic minorities are viewed as invaders or competitors. Conspiracy theories like the Great Replacement exploit demographic shifts by claiming that there is a deliberate plan to replace or undermine the majority population with minority groups, often stoking unfounded fears and hostility. Addressing the building strong integrated communities and promoting intercultural understanding can help mitigate fears and misconceptions about demographic changes. Counter narratives, offering fact-based counter narratives to challenge hate ideologies and conspiracy theories is crucial. Proactive law enforcement strategies combined with policies that address underlying social and economic issues can help reduce the factors that push or pull individuals towards hate crimes. Understanding these push and pull factors and the ideologies that exploit demographic shifts is essential for effectively preventing and responding to hate crimes. It requires a multifaceted approach involving community engagement, education, policy intervention, and proactive law enforcement. As we reach the end of today's journey on Intersections Conversations, I hope our discussion has provided some insightful perspectives on the complex world of hate crimes, their historical roots, and the impact of demographic shifts on societal ideologies. Remember, understanding hate crimes isn't just about statistics or legal definitions. It's about recognizing the real human stories behind these acts and the profound impact they have on communities and individuals alike. It's about understanding our past, acknowledging the present, and working collectively towards a more empathetic and inclusive future. Let's carry forward the knowledge that we can all play a role in combating hate and fostering understanding in our ever-evolving society. Stay aware, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected to those around you. Join us next time on Intersections Conversations for another deep dive into the issues shaping our world. I'm Jason, your guide and companion on this journey. Until then, take care and keep bridging the intersections.